Did you know that comfort food choices can actually predict personality traits? Research shows that people who prefer complex, time-intensive comfort foods tend to be more patient and analytical in their daily lives.
That's fascinating. And it makes me think about how our approach to emotional eating really does mirror our broader life strategies.
You know what's really interesting about this? It's not just about the food itself. Studies have shown that 78% of people associate their primary comfort food with a specific memory or person from their past.
Well, that certainly explains why I'm drawn to making this elaborate beef stew when I'm stressed. The whole process is like a meditation, starting with searing the meat until it gets that perfect crust.
And I've read that the act of slow cooking actually releases endorphins similar to what we experience during meditation. Something about the aromas and the anticipation.
That's exactly what it feels like. You're adding these chunky vegetables, fresh herbs, a splash of wine, and the whole kitchen starts to transform.
But here's what I find fascinating. While some people need that slow, methodical process for emotional regulation, others like myself are wired completely differently. When I'm stressed, I need immediate comfort.
Let me guess, you're part of the 43% of Americans who turn to grilled cheese as their go-to comfort food?
Oh my gosh, yes! And I'm very specific about it. Sourdough bread, which actually has scientific benefits because of the fermentation process, and this perfect blend of sharp cheddar and Gruyere. The key is using plenty of butter to get that golden crust.
So while I'm spending 3 hours on my emotional healing, you're getting yours in about 15 minutes. That's quite the contrast in coping mechanisms.
And what's really interesting is that nutritional psychologists have found that both approaches are equally valid for stress reduction. It's not about the time invested, it's about the emotional association.
You know, that reminds me of a study I read about how comfort food preferences often develop before age 10. The foods we turn to in times of stress are usually connected to early positive experiences.
That makes so much sense, and it explains why comfort foods vary so dramatically across cultures. Like in Japan, where rice porridge is one of the most common comfort foods, or in India, where it might be khichdi.
Speaking of cultural differences, have you seen the research about how comfort food choices shift during different types of stress?
Yes. It's fascinating how our bodies seem to know what we need. Work-related stress tends to trigger cravings for simple carbohydrates, while emotional stress often leads to protein-rich comfort foods. Our bodies are basically self-medicating through food choices.
That's really interesting about the protein connection. I wonder if that's why my stew feels so restorative. It's literally giving my body what it needs in that moment.
And you know what's even more fascinating? Research shows that just thinking about your comfort food can reduce anxiety levels by up to 25%. It's like our brains have created these powerful emotional shortcuts.
Well, that explains why I start feeling better just when I begin preparing the stew, long before it's actually ready to eat.
Exactly. And nutritionists have found that these emotional associations with food can be so strong that they actually influence how our bodies metabolize the meals. When we eat something we associate with comfort, our bodies process it differently.
That's incredible. So, our emotional connection to food isn't just psychological, it's physiological too.
Yes. And here's something else that blew my mind. Studies show that people who have regular comfort food rituals tend to be more resilient in handling stress overall. It's like we're building emotional muscle memory.
So whether it's your quick fix grilled cheese or my slow cooked stew, we're actually engaging in a form of emotional self-care that science supports.
And maybe that's the real takeaway here. There's no right way to find comfort through food. It's about understanding your own emotional needs and honoring them, whether that takes 15 minutes or 3 hours.
You've given me a whole new perspective on comfort food. It's not just about the meal. It's about emotional intelligence and self-awareness.
Well, speaking of emotional intelligence, I think my body's telling me it's time for a grilled cheese session. Sometimes the best thing we can do is listen to what we need.
And I might need to start that stew, though I'll have to practice some patience before I get my comfort fix.